I love a good mystery, especially at Disneyland. Like, what are they doing at Incredicoaster? How far are they cutting those trees down Disneyland Drive? Who's that mysterious man behind the scrim at Earls? We're on the hunt for great construction stories around the Disneyland Resort, and we're going to get started on the streets of Anaheim. I barely got started over here already at the Alpine Inn, and I found my first mysterious piece of paint. This is brand new paint. This is pink paint found on Katella and the sidewalks, and it's in such a configuration that it really caught my eye. The color, the brightness, but this directional arrows kind of thing going on there. Something that I haven't ever seen before in observing these paint signals. And that's why this is, I get so excited every single week when I walk down Katella and towards Disneyland Drive. I'm excited. I'm like, because of the possibility, what are we going to find? What are we going to see? That's how quickly things are moving, and that's how interesting this project that we're going to be talking about this week and weeks in the past, weeks ahead, how interesting all of this is. Being able to follow this and track this and just the possibilities and what does it all mean? What does it all mean? I can't wait to find out. I can't wait to find out and look back and how all these things connect together. But today, we just get to see what's happening. We're in the moment. We're in the now. What's happening now? And there's going to be more of that in a minute. But first, this is what I was talking about last week. This is that we're right behind Radiator Springs. You can see the backside of Cadillac Range back there. There is so much action happening back there. I can't even see it. I didn't want to hang around too long. You can't see through the scrim. But there is just numerous vehicles, construction crews, equipment, all kinds of things are happening back there behind that scrim. And it kind of goes along all the way down the path towards Disneyland Drive. And then there's some more. There's some more of that pink paint on the ground there, and it's kind of creating a path, as it were. These dots are moving up the street, and now they're up out into the street as if to create they may be creating a new sidewalk here. I'm not sure for what purpose. I don't know how it's related. By the way, we are still behind. This is still behind Radiator Springs Racers. We have a long way to go to get to Disneyland Drive. But now every 10 or 15 feet, there's another pink dash. It's dash, dot, dash, like Morse code. Dash, dot, dash. And there's some more in the street you can see. Isn't this fascinating? It just goes on and on. It keeps going all the way until it finally ends here, and that's bush. It ends at this bush. And there's marks on, out there on Katella, and then it stops. And now there's no more. There's still paint in the street. You can kind of see the paint over there in the street, but there's nothing on the sidewalk anymore. And then this. I don't know if this is going to come through or not, but every color in the rainbow is out on that street right now. Pink, yellow, orange, white. There is so much paint at this specific spot. And there you can see, actually, by the way, two CityWorks trucks. These are city trucks. These are the guys doing all that painting. I'm almost positive those trucks are for the guys doing the paint. We finally reached the corner where we're keep an eye on things. The fence is up and they're starting to cut trees back here. They built that new fence, but no action back there as of yet. No changes. In that backstage area as of this morning. The street is still closed. The sidewalk's still closed. When that opens up, well, what if it never does? Well, there is a right-of-way easement there, so we'll have to pay attention to that. Lights are still up on the trees. Somebody mentioned the trees are up all year round. That even adds more credibility to my idea that when we see those lights come off, then we'll know they're about to do something. Or if they don't come off, if they never come off, then those trees are staying forever. Crossing the street, and there's more pink on the sidewalk here, and there's an actual survey, whatever you call that, surveying machine. I don't know what to call those things. All right, so there's a long view of the fenced off area along the future Coco site, backstage, DCA, back behind Incredicoaster, and an Emotional Whirlwind, etc. The views, there's not a lot of action. There was not much happening here. Couldn't see much. You could see guys that are working, but they weren't doing any actual removal, any actual demo of those trees. They weren't actually taking anything out. Very quiet out here this morning. So let's climb to the 15th floor of the Pixar Place Hotel. They've left this open for me one more week. Yay. Yeah, so you can see that there hasn't been a big change in what they've taken down out here. That looks about as we left it last week, believe it or not. But they have built a ramp, which is curious. There's a dirt ramp that they've sort of constructed, and I've seen this in construction sites in the past, where they create these they're like roads almost, but I don't know for what purpose and why they would need it here. That's a mystery to me. Maybe somebody can explain in the comments. Big pile of concrete right there where they've broken up the concrete. Not on this path here. I think it's mostly from the sidewalk. They've removed the sidewalk. There we go. They removed the sidewalk as we make our way, as we pan closer to Katella Avenue. They've done a lot of work out there. Oh, look at that. There's lots of... Okay, so the action hasn't been happening at the Mickey Ear. It's been happening down the street. Cool. That's been happening down the street. They are moving quickly, getting those trees and all that landscaping removed. I mean, there are still a lot of trees, mind you. That's going to be big work to get those trees out of there. But the landscaping has removed. By the way, there's a decent view. That's the Coco spot. That's where we look for Coco on the Pixar Pal Around. That's a decent view. Also a decent view of Earls Sandwich being constructed, although it's kind of late to see anything here. But that I wish I had tried this before. And then, of course, this view. I love this view. This is great. Let's get on that Pixar Pal Around. There is that same view we're just seeing from Pixar Place Hotel. It's been the same story for a couple of months now. Just nothing happening here. We're all holding. I think we're waiting for whatever it is that they're doing at Incredicoaster. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Stay tuned for that. But for now, let's just try to see. I mean, there's just nothing. It looks exactly like it has for the past 12 weeks, I would guess. I mean, it feels like that long at least, right? No movement, no packing up, no nothing. We'll get into DCA. Guys, look at that. Lunar New Year is on its way. Lunar New Year will be here in a week. We took a tour around to check out some of the food that's going to be made available and some of the booths. Bamboo Blessings, one of my favorites. Looking forward to trying that 5-spice popcorn chicken. Spice Traders, always great. They've got the spicy wings. And what is that, honeydew colada? Oh, I got to get me one of those. That's coming up. Stay tuned to Fresh Baked. We're going to be doing our usual We're going to eat everything video at Lunar New Year. We're going to eat every single item that's on those kiosks right there. Every single item, food item, desserts, etc. And probably most of the drinks. If you enjoy Buzz David, you should be checking out our Lunar New Year show coming up. It's got Lunar New Year's this Friday, actually. As you watch this, it'll be this Friday, and the video will be out over the weekend, most likely. I can't wait. On our way to Pixar Pier, I noticed, okay, so Lamplight Lounge is closed right now. And it might have reopened by now, I'm not sure. But I noticed they put up some scaffolding up there. What are they doing back there with that scaffolding? What could they, and it's been there for a few days, actually. And they're moving it presently. In this shot, they're moving it to maybe reach something else. I don't know. Is it just paint? I don't know. Did I mention how much I'm looking forward to this? I love food and wine festivals. The food and wine in spring is the best, but the best food is Lunar New Year, and I am so looking forward to this. It doesn't even bother me that they're not going to have a bunch of new items because the existing items were really good. Plus, I'm really going to I'm going to enjoy this year's drink lineup. A lot of really tasty looking drinks. I cannot wait. Hope you guys can join us. All right, let's check in on Incredicoaster. This is a really intriguing piece of update happening right now at Disneyland Resort. We see that the paint job has been done over there at the loading area. They painted that trim orange. Empty queue, no crew to be seen here doing anything, not even paint. That scrim and scaffold has been removed from that part of the Incredicoaster track. No crew, no construction guys, no maintenance crew out here on the track. We saw a bunch of guys out here last week. And even that part, the scrim has been taken down here. That white paint is done. Everything is done. Nothing happening here at the Pixar, the loop there. Nothing. There's nothing happening. And we're still 3 weeks away from this thing reopening. Couple that with all the action that we saw backstage back there behind Radiator Springs Racers and also behind Incredicoaster. It's happening there as well, but you can't see it because there's lots of palm trees, etc. out there. Those two things put together makes me more convinced this week than I was last week that the Incredicoaster closure has less to do with them actually trying to fix the Incredicoaster, whatever it is. Hi, thank you guys, thank you, good morning. It looks like they maybe are already done with whatever refurb work they want to do on Incredicoaster itself, and that it's closed for some other reason besides the actual track, the actual attraction, like what's going on backstage. Well, I guess since we're at the Pixar Pal Around, we'll go take a ride and check out Avengers Infinity Defense. Not gonna lie, looks exactly like it did last week and the week before and the week before that. Although I will say there's a giant rig back there. We're gonna see some action with that rig later. We're gonna see what that thing is for, that giant crane. We're gonna see what that's for in a little bit. There is the cozy cones. It looks like, as we mentioned last week, that there's a guy working right there. It looks like that it's reached its full height, that restroom building there. So that's fascinating. And then we're going to try to get another look on the ground down there. I don't see any more truss. Did they get all the truss done? I think so. There's Emotional Whirlwind. We saw that it was behind scrim and scaffold last week. It's down, obviously. Things are nearly back up and running for Emotional Whirlwind. We'll check in on its status, its return date soon. We're going to go to Downtown Disney next, where last week we talked about them closing off this walking path to guests because they're going to bring out the construction walls in order to do the demo at Earls Sandwich. And that's cool. It's like watching Mary Poppins or something, or what was that scene from Austin Powers? But completely different context. But so we got to see some guys working back there. What are they doing? What are those guys doing back there? Oh, okay, I get it. They're doing a little. This is the scrim just came up since last week. They're actually battening down the hatches, as it were, to borrow a term. They are putting up the scrim. That's what these guys are doing. Is they're actually constructing the scrim and then buttoning it up to tighten it up. Because the reason why it wasn't up before, they had the scaffolding up but no scrim, is because of the Santa Ana winds. You can't have scrim up while it's windy. So now that the winds have passed, they can put the actual scrim up. I'm wondering if they're going to run it down that other side, because it's just a front-facing scrim, but nothing on the side that faces the Esplanade. Let's get on the monorail real quick. I want to see if we can see what's going on back there. We have 2 clips of this. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it is clear back there. Okay, so that's the Pocket 3 version. Let's get the phone out and try this again, but this time in slow motion. Past those trees. Come on, trees, get out of the way. It's very difficult to see things when they're far away because there's a lot of trees at Disneyland. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they have completely removed. 7 and 8 are gone completely. Also gone is that planter back there, the seating area for Earls, that old planter, or the old seating area and the planter area. That looks to have been demoed and completely gone. They are demoing for real back there. It is not just for fun. They're getting some work done. The planter and the seating area are gone at Porto's. Well, I should say future Porter. Someday in the future, we're going to have some of those sweet treats. God, looking forward to that. Some matcha. I'm not a big matcha guy, but I am a fan of that looking man, that looks delicious. Give me a Cuban sandwich. Ticket booths 5 and 6 are still here, and there's no plans for anything happening there. You can see the chain still up. Went ahead and checked in on the ticket booths where they actually sell tickets now. And there's a queue again. This is at like 9:30, I think it is. About 9:30. So ever since I made that initial observation about those ticket booths closing, I've been paying attention to that queue back there just to see how active it is, waiting for it to fall down, waiting for it to drop. But that's pretty consistent. What you're seeing right there, that's pretty much the same queue I see just about every time I've looked. 25 minutes to buy a ticket if you come to the park. And maybe this is a warning, I guess. As opposed to shaking my fist at it, I could say, guys, Disney doesn't want to sell tickets at the gate anymore. You might as well get used to the idea that you're going to have to buy them online. digitally and put your credit card online. I know some people, there are a lot of Gen Xers and boomers out there who maybe don't want to do that. I don't know. Or maybe it's all generations, who knows. But I mean, or just be okay with waiting 20, 30 minutes to get a ticket. And this actually is a perfect opportunity to segue into our good friends over at GetAwayToday, our preferred travel affiliate. If you are looking to buy a ticket, even just a ticket, you can plan a whole trip if you want, hotels, etc., or just buy tickets. You can use GetAwayToday. They are, without a doubt, the nicest people in the business. We love them very much. Supporting GetAwayToday supports not just this channel, but a really lovely family-owned business that has been doing this and providing excellent customer service to guests for years and years and years, and you will not be disappointed with their service. Plan a trip to Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Aulani, a cruise, you name it. Hope you guys have a great trip. Let's get back into DCA and check out that restroom we were seeing from the Pixar Pal Around. Not a lot to report here. It's very difficult to see anything. We've got a full building. Whenever the building gets closed, it stops being interesting. Plus, they brought the walls in, so we can't see as much anyway. Not a lot to see. I will show you, or I'll tell you that I feel like what they're doing right now, the reason why they brought the walls out is so they can finish the path. I think there's going to be a more direct path. You're going to turn right where there used to be that backstage gate just to the left of Luigi's. That's more or less going to be your way into Avengers Campus and Avengers Infinity Defense, which we're getting a look at now. And that is what that big yellow crane was for. They're bringing in these support columns. It looks like I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 already installed. And they're bringing in number 8. Isn't that cool? That's the most interesting thing we've seen at Avengers Infinity Defense since they started putting in the truss. And that's been weeks. I know we mentioned when we were on the Pixar Pal Around, everything has just been sort of stuck. But there's some really cool looking movement right there. Now, that's going to be perhaps the beginning of us not being able to see very much at all. They're going to, just like with the restroom, that's going to start getting closed up after they put up those supports. Next door at Mission Breakout, those construction walls are still up. They're turning that into table or like seating for guests. Meanwhile, we have an update from Mission Breakout. Now, there is a refurb happening here at Mission Breakout. You may have seen our update on State of DCA. I've been advised that they have resumed the elevator, the gantry lift refurb. That was something that was happening before the Halloween and Christmas seasons, and we speculated that they were going to stop that refurb while they were in those holiday periods, obviously because of the demand. But now that we're in January, they're going to pick that refurb back up. We're watching the gantries to see which coming up. There goes Alpha. Alpha is open, and what we're looking for is to see if Bravo or Charlie. It's Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. 1, 2, 3, left, middle, right. And as we stood there and waited, we eventually got to Charlie. It went Alpha, Charlie. I was waiting for Alpha. I was expecting Alpha again. Bravo's definitely closed. But while we were filming that particular segment, Alpha had a breakdown. While we were filming, Alpha stopped. And because when we arrived, by the way, this is important. To watch the gantries to see what's open and what isn't. How many are running? Is it 1, 2, or 3? There's actually 6 loading areas, but there's 3 elevators, right? So you got to watch that because it definitely informs whether or not you should go. In this case, there were 2 operating, and the wait was at 35 minutes, which was not bad actually, considering there was 1 closed. But while we were filming that, Alpha went down. It's still open. The attraction's still open, but now it's just running Charlie. It went from 35 to 75 in 3 minutes. While I was filming, it went from 35 to 75. Pay attention to how many gantry lifts are. You can find out how many are going by spending about 2.5, 3 minutes watching those elevators. They all 3 will open within that 3-minute period. If you see one get skipped, then you're down an elevator. Let's go to Grizzly Peak, check in on Grizzly River Run. The wheel is not turning. There are no boats. Grizzly River Run is currently in an extended refurb. Looks like they're working on that log over there. I don't know what that is, what they're doing, what's necessary, but they are working on that. And then obviously you could probably hear the sound of that cutting tool right there. Although we're not able to see it. I think he's cutting more of that kind of log right there. Maybe we can get a better look. Now these guys, I think they're doing the same tool, but it looks like they're cutting rock, not the wood. I thought they were maybe cutting that log right there or working on that, but maybe they have, well, they're just working behind it, but they're cutting rock. And I would imagine that's also what he's doing, but we were not able to get a good look at what he's working on. And then, of course, the usual over on the other side where, again, the river's been drained. No visible work happening on any of the geysers. I don't see anybody working on the geysers. A bunch of planks. Looks like maybe they're resurfacing that viewing area down there. That looks like board that has been either ripped out or is on its way going in. Not sure in that case, but I think they may be redoing the surface back there. And then the caution tape is still up back there as well. This is a scene. This is typical. We always see the same sort of staging area here for Grizzly River Run also whenever it goes under refurb. And I guess they're still working after all on Napa back there because I can hear the sound again of a cutting tool somewhere. Talk about mysteries, you guys. Soren, remember the sign? The sign that we saw last week that totally baffled me? The sign that says, hey, you go this way to find Soren? It's gone. The sign is gone. It is. I looked all over, you guys. I looked everywhere. I thought maybe they might put it somewhere else because it was kind of weird where it was placed. And I thought maybe they may, but I checked everywhere. I even checked this long stream of guests walking into Soren with a very clear idea of where they were going. No confusion whatsoever. Well, that's pretty exciting. I got to think maybe we won a little bit on that. Made a stink. They agreed. Maybe all those guests kind of do know where they're going. Maybe they can figure it out. Or maybe they agreed that a digital sign that just had an arrow on it was perhaps not the best thematic choice in a land that is themed after a forest land, maybe. Either way, I'm happy to see that they made the right decision. Good job, Disney. We're going to jump back out onto Harbor Boulevard again to check in on Avengers Infinity Defense. We haven't been out on this way. The weather has kept us from coming out into this viewing area. And there's some steel. Look at that coming up right there. They got some steel bringing in. That's the same crane. Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's that. They're actually delivering one of those columns, the support columns that we saw them installing. But look at all that other vertical steel that's been put up recently, creating more definition. When I was talking about them getting ready to close it up, that's what I mean. All that's happening in a lot of different spaces out there on the backside of Infinity Defense. Very clear indication that they're getting ready to close this thing up a little bit. Although there is still plenty of work happening inside I think we can get a little closer. We can see a lot of crew working on this little wing. I'm very curious what this wing, this lower 2-story building compared to the other bigger one. I wonder what that's for. I don't know. Complete mystery. What is going to happen? What mysterious things are going to happen in that building? There's also on the ground floor, I thought I saw movement back there. We're trying to look over Candy Cane Inn. There is movement back there, but I couldn't pick up what it was that they were doing. While we're on Harbor Boulevard, took a drive down Disney Way again to see if I could pick up any updates. There was no new signage, no new paint. There is a sign indicating that the half marathon was coming up on February 1st. So look out for, to be rerouted. There's going to be a detour if anybody's trying to use Harbor Boulevard or Disney Way. My hope is that on February 2nd, or maybe sometime after that, some short time after that, they might start actually doing forward progress on the Eastern Gateway back there. But for now, nothing to be seen here on the roads. No new paint, no new signs of work being done until I was just about ready to finish. I pulled up, we're on Manchester. Look at that, another one. 109. Black and white checkers 109. They're just popping up everywhere, you guys. Keep an eye out. All right, we're going to go back to Disneyland. We're going to get on the monorail. Nothing happening back there at Tortilla Joe's. And no Christmas. No Christmas here on Main Street, Disneyland. Thank goodness. I do love, not that I don't like Christmas, but I like to get the original Disneyland back as soon as possible. It's taken them a little while to get stuff down, but it looks like Christmas has left Main Street Disneyland. Looks clean and original, pristine. There's not even snow in the castle back there. But no sooner did rejoice in the removal of the Christmas decorations, did I find that they still left the tree up here. The Jungle Cruise tree is still there. I was kind of like, well, did they forget? They might have forgotten. I hope they did, actually, by the way, because I rather like that tree. And it's not so overtly Christmas. It's not so overtly, holiday that you couldn't leave it up there. What do you say, guys? Should we just, give him a pass here? I think I like that tree there. It adds a little more character to the Jungle Cruise queue. It's a personal touch by the cast, because I can imagine that it's the cast, the people who work at the Jungle Navigation Company, just kind of made their own tree for fun, and they want people to enjoy it. Fascinating. Here's what's fascinating. The buckets haven't been working for months, maybe 6 months, but now the wheel stopped. This is the first time I haven't seen the wheel running in quite a while. A couple of days ago, I stopped by Harbor Galley to check in on the Mark Twain. It was closed for refurb. Found some crew on there doing some maintenance, the little paint, etc. This is almost exclusively paint polish. I'm so glad that they do this, that the Mark Twain gets this regular refurb every year, pretty much. But you can see evidence. There's a guy painting right now, actually, painting the Mark Twain. Looks great from the front. This is actually the final stages. This is near the end. I think this might have even been the last day of its refurb. I think it went back in the water. We'll see in a second. But everything looks clean and fresh, and the decks have been re-oiled and everything. So really looking forward to getting a new ride on the Mark Twain. And there's the rear side. They did not replace the paddle wheel, which was replaced in the last refurb. It actually already looks really aged, doesn't it? And sure enough, yes, we arrived on this Friday afternoon. Those guests on the boat got to enjoy a freshly updated Mark Twain riverboat. It is now down for refurb. Next will be the sailing ship Columbia. Now, it's not, I think it's just in dock right now. I don't think it's closed right now, so we're not going to see any crew up here. I think it goes down, or no, actually it may be now. Yeah, I think it is closed at this point. I think it's supposed to close on the 16th. We'll check that refurb calendar at the end of this show to confirm those dates. But there's the Columbia is in dock now, and look for that to go down for another 4 days while they update it. Haunted Mansion is closed. Closed on the 12th. It takes about 2 weeks for them to do the update to take down the overlay. Take a peek through. There's still a lot of decorations out here. Still up. A lot of Nightmare Before Christmas theming. Still on the house. And I wish they would hurry up, because I miss the original Haunted Mansion. And then one last update: the Fantasyland Theater is closed. They're striking the set for the holiday update, and they'll soon be installing Bluey coming to the Fantasyland Theater this spring. With that, let's go ahead and update you on that refurb calendar. Starting at Disneyland, starting with the Haunted Mansion, January 12th, it closed. It's going to be reopening on January 23rd. Star Wars, Rise of the Resistance, closing on January 20th. I know Star Wars has been in the news. Rise, with the updates to Galaxy's Edge and the new characters. I do not think that this refurb, this closure for Rise, has anything to do with that. That's not going to happen until April. There's no way this attraction is going to be closed until April. I would be shocked if it were. Nothing is going to happen to Rise. I don't think that the Rise is getting any kind of change to the show, at least not in the short term. Maybe someday, but it's still going to be the same sequel trilogy, Rise of the Resistance. I don't believe that this closure has any connection to the news coming out of Galaxy's Edge. Now, having said that, Oga's Cantina, that's closing on January 20th also. I do think there's a chance that what they're doing there might be related to the Galaxy's Edge news. Go watch the video now. We did a video on all the proposed changes for Galaxy's Edge and what that includes and what it doesn't include, what's going to stay, what's going to go, what's going to happen, our thoughts on, will it work? Are they on the right path? Who knows? I asked this question last week. Chatcos Coolers is closing. It's actually going down for almost a month-long refurb, and I don't even know what that is. What is Chatcos Coolers? Small World is closing on January 26th to take down the Small World holiday. That's still, you can still see the lights and all the Christmas decorations and everything up right now if you go to Small World today. There you go. Sailing ship Columbia closing on the 20th. Oh, it's the 26th. I thought it was the 16th. It's the 26th that it's closing. So that is, yeah, so Sailing ship Columbia is still operable as of now, reopening on January 30th. Jungle Cruise closing on February 17th. I've seen some news where they were saying that the reopening date had been removed. I wasn't aware that there even was one. As far as I know, it's been open-ended because we can only see so far into the calendar. But I expect this to be a few weeks probably for the Jungle Cruise. A Grizzly River Run closing, or it is closed. As we mentioned, it's been closed now for 12 days and still no known date. So usually this update takes about a month or so. Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, as mentioned, it's closed. Now, the scrim and scaffold are down, but it still won't be opening until January 23rd, so that's going to be just under a week from now as you watch this. Incredicoaster, we do have a date. That's been closed since the 6th. It's going to reopen on February 6th. And a new entry on the refurb calendar is Jumpin' Jellyfish, closing February 23rd with no known date as of yet, though I don't expect this to be anything extensive. That's our update this week. I sure hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh baked.